Microsoft produces SQL Server Developer Edition is a full-featured free edition, licensed for use as a development and test database in a non-production environment. Hello, I am Richard. This is part 2 of SQL Server tutorial for beginners. In this video, we are going to install SQL Server 2019 Developer Edition. Before we begin, head over to the Microsoft SQL Server Downloads page and download SQL Server 2019 Developer Edition. Let's get started. Step 1. Run installed application. Navigate to the directory where you downloaded the application, then double-click it to start the installation process. Step 2. Select Custom Installation. After you have chosen the custom installation, click on Install. Allow the application to download and install packages. You have the Basic, Custom and Download medium installation types. We highly recommend you choose Custom to tweak your installation of SQL Server 2019 Developer Edition on Windows SQL 2019. Specify a directory where SQL Server will store files downloaded for installation. Be patient as the download begins, it may take some time. Step 3. Choose Installation. After all of the packages have downloaded, a new page as illustrated below will follow. Click on Installation. Step 4. Choose New SQL Server Standalone. After Step 3, choose the first option in the list and proceed to the next step. Step 5. Specify Edition. This step depends on whether you need Developer, Evaluation, or Express. Their differences are described in the window. Since we are installing the Developer Edition, let us proceed with that option. Click Next. Step 6. Accept license terms. Select I accept the license terms and privacy statement checkbox and click on Next. Step 7. Microsoft Update. You can either select Microsoft Update checkbox or not, then click Next. Step 8. Install rules. Windows will check the system to find out any potential problems that can occur while the setup is running. If your firewall is running, you might see a warning sign for Windows Firewall, which reminds you to open appropriate ports after installation is complete. Click Next after you are satisfied with the results of that page. Step 9. Feature selection. In this step, you are presented with many features that SQL Server comes with. In case you would wish a certain feature to be included in your SQL instance, then this is the part that you choose their radio buttons. Go ahead and choose what you prefer to have. Click Next after you are done. Step 10. Instance configuration. Name your instance in this step and click Next. Step 11. Server configuration. Specify the service accounts and collation configuration here. Click Next after that. Step 12. Configure database engine parameters. This step gives you the opportunity to choose authentication mechanisms you will use, setting a password for the administrator account, and choosing other admin accounts. We prefer mixed mode authentication where a user can either be from a domain or added manually in the SQL instance. Choose the one that suits you best, enter the password and any other setting that you would wish to configure. You will notice that there are other tabs on this page. There are data directories, where you can specify where you would wish your logs to reside, where your root directory will be, where you would wish to place your backup directory and database directory. If you have different partitions in your server, you can place these directories in a smart way. Other tabs include memory, tempdb, maxdop, and file stream. Look into them and set your customized settings therein. Click Next when you are done. Do not forget to add an admin user. Step 13. Analysis Services Configuration. Since we enabled analysis functionality, this is the step where we configure them. Choose an administrator and set the server mode that you prefer. Click Next. Step 14. Accept installation of services. In case you had chosen specific packages to suit your needs in Step 9, you will be presented with installation guide and settings tailored for that specific service. For example, we had chosen Python, and now we're being asked to consent its installation. After you are done with all of the prompts, click Next to proceed. Step 15. Ready to install. This step gives a summary of what we have been doing so far. The packages we have chosen to install, the settings we have configured, and many more. Look at the list carefully. After you are satisfied with the summary, then click Install. Please wait as the server gets installed. First and foremost, if you guys are new to this channel, I welcome you all. Thank you for taking your time to watching this video and checking my channel. If you stuck around this long in this video, I really appreciate you sticking around and listening to this video. So with that being said, if you find this video useful, please share, like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Step 16. Finish up. After everything is installed, click on Close. Your SQL instance is installed and ready to be used. What remains is to connect to it, create databases and take advantage of its resources. Next, we are going to look at how to connect to our SQL instance using SQL Server Management Studio. We shall install it and kick off using our SQL resources. If you are instructed to restart the computer, do so now. Next, look for SQL Server Configuration Manager on the Start menu and open the application. Make sure you enable TCP protocol if you find is disabled. For this change to take effect, you will need to restart SQL Server Service. In the next section, we're going to install Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. To interact with SQL servers, you need to install SQL Server Management Studio, known as SSMS. The SQL Server Management Studio is a software for querying, designing, and managing SQL Server on your local computer or in the cloud. It provides you with tools to configure, monitor, and administer SQL Server instances. First, download the SSMS from the Microsoft website via the following link in the description. Second, double-click the installation exe file to starting installing. The installation process of SSMS is straightforward, which you just need to follow the screen sequence. Step 1. Click the Install button. Step 2. Wait for few minutes while the installer sets up the software. Step 3. Once setup is completed, click the Close button. Now, you should have a SQL Server 2017 and SQL Server Management Studio installed on your computer. Next, you will learn how to connect to the SQL Server 2017 from the SQL Server Management Studio. To connect to the SQL Server using the Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio, please follow the steps below. First, launch the Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio from the Start menu. From the Connect menu under the Object Explorer, choose the database engine. Then, enter the information for the server name, select localhost. For authentication, select SQL Server Authentication and password for the SA user and click the Connect button to connect to the SQL Server. Note that you should use the SA user and password that you entered during the installation. If the connection is established successfully, then you will see the following Object Explorer panel. To execute a query, you follow these steps. First, right-click on the localhost SQL Server node and choose the New Query menu item. Second, enter the following query in the editor. This query returns the version of the SQL Server. Third, click the Execute button. The results window shows the version of the SQL Server as shown in the above screenshot. A quick way to execute a query is to press the F5 keyboard shortcut. Now, you should know how to connect to a SQL Server and execute a query from the SSMS. In the last section, we will introduce you to a SQL Server sample database called Bike Stores. The following illustrates the Bike Stores database diagram. As you can see from the diagram, the Bike Stores sample database has two schemas: sales and production, and these schemas have 9 tables. The sales stores table includes the store's information. Each store has a store name, contact information such as phone and email, and an address including street, city, state, and zip code. The sales staffs table stores the essential information of staffs including first name, last name. It also contains the communication information such as email and phone. A staff works at a store specified by the value in the store ID column. A store can have one or more staffs. A staff reports to a store manager specified by the value in the manager ID column. If the value in the manager ID is null, then the staff is the top manager. If a staff no longer works for any stores, the value in the active column is set to 0. The production categories table stores the bikes categories such as children bicycles, comfort bicycles, and electric bikes. The production brands table stores the brands information of bikes, for example, Electra, Hero, and Heller. The production products table stores the products information such as name, brand, category, model year, and list price. Each product belongs to a brand specified by the brand ID column. Hence, a brand may have 0 or many products. Each product also belongs a category specified by the category ID column. Also, each category may have 0 or many products. The sales customers table stores customers' information including first name, last name, phone, email, street, city, state and zip code. The sales orders table stores the sales orders header information including customer, order status, order date, required date, ship date. It also stores the information on where the sales transaction created and who created it. Each sales order has a row in the sales orders table. A sales order has one or many line items stored in the sales order items table. The sales order items table stores the line items of a sales order. Each line item belongs to a sales order specified by the order ID column. A sales order line item includes product, order quantity, list price and discount. The production stocks table stores the inventory information, for example, the quantity of a particular product in a specific store. Now, you should be familiar with the bike store's sample database and ready to load it into the SQL Server. That's it for today. Thank you for listening. As always, I'd appreciate if you subscribe. If you have any questions, please go ahead and ask those in the comments down below. I'll do my best to answer them as I can. Have a great day.